thing you always want to do when you're pressure washing. First you hook your hose up, you run it, put one of them little filters on it. But this is the most important thing. You gotta let that water run for a couple minutes first, washing any impurities out of the pipe, out of the hose, dirt, bugs, leaves, whatever. Because if they get in the pump on your pressure washer, they can cost you hundreds of dollars. And this neat little shut off here that I got off of Amazon, it's great. Look at the flow coming out of there. And I can just shut it off and hook it up. I also strongly recommend you get one of these filters. Take out as many particulates as you can before the water goes into your pressure washer. Now that little spring connector is only on there so I don't lose it. Normally I hook it straight to the spigot, but this time I use some of my customers' hose to be able to reach all the way around the house in one shot, which is good. Just something you might want to be aware of. Those little things, they don't cost much, but they're a lot cheaper than a new pump. When I did research for pressure washers, I took a couple hours and researched them thoroughly, read all the comments and the pluses and minuses, and this one here came very highly recommended. Now for the average householder, this is just too much of a beast. It is a monster. My old one was 2,500 at 2.5 gallons per minute, and that was plenty for a homeowner. But if you're looking at this, Simpson, I would recommend one thing. That gas cap is a pain in the neck in the middle. I recommend you put it on the front corner. But the main thing I'd recommend for a homeowner to look for is that right there. See the name on the front of that motor? Honda. Those motors just run and run and run. The one on my old pressure washer, which is at home, and the motor still fires up on the first pull. It's burned up 2 pumps now. Not sure if I'm going to buy another pump for it or sell it, because I did get a new one. But this one is such a beast. It's really more than I need for some projects. So just some things to think about. You can see what I'm up against here. A little bit of mold and mildew on the gutters and the eaves and the soffit underneath. Real easy to fix. A good strong dose of bleach water. But the trick is, you want to wet them down first, then soak them with the bleach, then spray them off rather quickly, because it doesn't take long. That way the bleach isn't on there too long, and if you don't get them wet first, it'll spot, it'll leave spots. Some spots will be whiter than others. You'll have to go over it again. But one other good reason is, those right there. You get the plants wet when you soak everything down, and then you rinse them when you spray it off again, because the bleach isn't a good thing for most plants. A lot of things it won't hurt for a short duration, especially if you rinse it. And some things are very sensitive, so it's always a good idea to rinse it off. Okay, I'm here at the home of a customer. I'm cleaning her windows. She already has a guy that does pressure washing, but what she doesn't know is that he's not really good at what he does. Let me show you some examples. First of all, you can't really notice it because of the darkness and the shadows, but up in that crack between the gutter and the fascia, which I don't know why there is a crack, but that's how they build them sometimes. He didn't get it very clean up in there. Looks like he sprayed it a little, but he didn't really get it clean, which, I don't know, that just bugs me, kind of a pet peeve. But this is the part I really wanted to talk about. 2 things around the windows. They always mess up around the windows. Look at that windowsill. Look how dirty that is and brown that is. Dirty and brown. And then look up here. Look at all the bug stuff. This one's really bad. He was only here a few days ago. That stuff should not be there. Look at all the bug stuff and the cells, the dirty cells. These should be brilliantly white after a pressure washer goes. But you see the stuff? See what I'm talking about? There's no reason for him to miss that. None whatsoever. Okay, now, when you're cleaning screens, there's a few things that you need to know. It's not really rocket science. This is pressure washing. But, like you see, I go down the edges. It's always nice to do that. Make sure you don't leave little unclean spots on the edges. But one thing to know is that it's really hard almost impossible to damage a screen with a pressure washer, especially if you're using a fan tip like I am here. Now, I have used a power tip on them. Those are more for cleaning concrete, but they will work on screens. But you do have to be a little bit careful, especially if it's an older screen, a little bit brittle maybe. If you get too close with the power tip, you can shred a screen. But I've gotten less than an inch away from a screen with a fan tip such as this one, and it's done no damage whatsoever. Most of that green stuff will come off pretty easy at the distance you see me going here, but for something like lichens, or some people call them lichens, L-I-C-H-E-N-S, but it's supposed to be lichens, those things, probably what I'm doing right there, are pretty tough, and you have to get down on them. As a matter of fact, when you're cleaning concrete, you're better off to just soak them down with good strong bleach for a minute before you clean them. Otherwise, they might not come all the way off. They're tough things. They're really tough. But anyway, you see, you make sure you cover everything, watch what you're doing, and it's not really that difficult to get a screen nice and clean with a pressure washer without damaging the screen. So now, let's speed things up a little bit, and we'll get on to the next section. And when you find yourself using a surface cleaner to clean a driveway or any other open surface like that, why would you not want to push forward and pull backward? Well, there's your answer. You'll be tripping over your hose again and again and again. That thing will always be in your way. So, what should you do? How should you handle it? Yeah, there you go. Go sideways. That hose is not in your way. It won't be in your way until you go back to start over another section. And you just have to toss it out of your way once. Plus, the surface cleaner tends to just almost move by itself when you go sideways. I generally run it with one hand. Not hard at all. So, these are some good things to know, whether you're a professional pressure washer such as I am, or if you're just a homeowner cleaning your own. I really appreciate you watching.